Welcome to the Glucose Never Lies podcast. I'm John Pemberton, a diabetes educator and researcher living with type 1 diabetes since 2008. I started the Glucose Never Lies website when my son tested positive for type 1 diabetes antibodies. In that moment, I realized I needed to build a resource strong enough to guide anyone who might care for him. At first, that meant writing clear, actionable management guides, but listening to Peter Attia's The Drive taught me something. Peter's conversations provide depth across nutrition, exercise, pharmacology, sleep, and much more. But I always find myself wondering, how does this information apply to people with type 1 diabetes? And this podcast is my attempt to fill that gap. I have access to the world's leading researchers and thought leaders in type 1 diabetes. That gives me a unique opportunity to combine lived experience, professional expertise, and cutting-edge science, and to share it all on here in conversation. But an important note, this podcast is for informational purposes only. These conversations share knowledge and experiences. They do not create a therapeutic relationship. So let's get started. Welcome to the Glucose Never Lies podcast, and this is a very exciting episode for me. I want to welcome Dr. Inge Van Boxelaer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, John.
So the reason why I'm very excited is this is someone who has, I would say, equally, if not more, the same passion for ensuring that the technologies that we have available today are delivered in a way where the education is very, very good, up to date, and delivered in a way that gives you the most important things without overwhelming you, and has developed her own platform over pure skin in the game, which is amazing. So I wanted to bring her on the show after we met at EASD 2025 and had some interactions prior to that. And speaking with Dr. Boxelaer, it's very clear the passion comes through. So first of all, I've already welcomed you to the show, but I want to say thank you because so a lot of your information and approach has sort of really helped me think through some of the stuff that we do on the Glucose Never Lies. So I want to say thank you first of all.
Thank you for having me on the show. I think your platform is amazing. Glucose Never Lies. I love the blogs. I love the in-depth information there as scientifically proven. So I'm very happy we have this resource available for us now. Thank you.
Oh, great. So what I'm really interested for, first of all, when people come on the show, they're into type 1 diabetes and type 2 as well, but more specifically for the Glucose Never Lies type 1, they've landed in this space for a reason by somehow. So give us a little bit of an idea of your genesis from being a doctor to being involved in diabetes. How did that come about?
So I've been an endocrinologist for 10 years here in Belgium. And it was when the first AID system became available, I think 6 years ago, that I was so happy we finally had it. We had it fully reimbursed thanks to all the lobby work of our colleagues and of the firms also. So thank you for that. But I saw a barrier. So there is still for centers who are new to AID systems, it's still a big step because you have to feel confident and really understand the systems to take a responsibility and to promote it to your patients. Because to be honest, patients really need to be convinced that having a device on their body will be better for their sugar. It will be a little more work in some case, but the sugar will be better and they will have less complications and they will live longer, hopefully. So that's the goal. So that barrier for us, it was not access, it was not cost, it was education. And I just felt that this is something I can solve. This is something I can do. I would love to do. And so I started creating e-learnings on the Medtronic. And then afterwards, I saw the other systems coming in. So I started doing e-learnings on the other AID systems, so CGM, pump, and algorithm. And then we are now updating all the modules also because we use some kind of an AI avatar, which makes it easy to update and also to translate everything. So that's how Diabetotech became to be, because we also understood that we are not the only hospital that has this barrier of education. And so we hope that our platform can really solve this educational barrier and that we can help diabetes care and get more people on the systems.
So how did your personal obviously you had a personal interest, you just spoke there, sort of AIDs came along and obviously we had CGM before that, but still requires the user to do a lot. Whereas these AID systems are taking the touch and decision points down from 40 a day, maybe down to 4 or 5 a day, which is amazing. And you've gone, okay, this is the future, this is it. But we're missing this. What was your like daily? Were you 5 days a week as an endocrinologist then? How did you then transition into developing these resources? Were you doing it out of work time, in work time? How did your personal workflow evolve?
So I never worked full time. I guess in the beginning, there was this excuse of having children, right?
Oh, that's
And
a good excuse. That's a
that's
good
a good
excuse.
excuse.
That is a serious good excuse.
So they were very small. So I started half time and I never progressed to full time. So I did 75% for a while, and then COVID came, and somehow there was less patients at a certain time that we were able to see. And I was so much into making these e-learnings that I thought, this is really what I want to do. I get so much energy from this. I love making education because this is also the way that I can learn myself about these systems. So I decided to work less again, to work 50%. And so that's why I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as a clinician. And then Thursday, Friday, I work for my passion, as you can say it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds a little bit like me at the moment. Three long days doing something that you really like, and then
Yeah.
2 days doing something you absolutely love.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that kind of gives us a bit of an evolution of sort of your approach, your thinking. And what was really interesting, because I'm a big AI person as well, how you've kind of built this system in the background where you create the rules, you create the kind of the situation for it to work, and then you get it to work for you with the new systems in terms of different languages, different approaches, thinking through things. I spent my personal AI is called Chad. I've developed him over 4 years. He's got a set of rules to adhere to. So is that a similar type of thing that you've developed when you're creating your resources through that?
To be honest, I was hoping that AI would solve a lot of my manual work, but until now, it's still a lot of manual work. But it's easier. You can
Yeah.
um, work faster. Like to
Yes.
construct sentences, I definitely use ChatGPT just
Hmm.
to reconstruct the sentences I have in my mind, or but yeah, I think the AI where it really jumps in with me is having the automatic translation. Of course, we do see there is still manual work needed after the automatic translation to get it correct by a native
Hmm.
speaker, and it also comes into the updating, right? It's so much easier to update videos and just do little editing where there is an update of the firm and you don't have to redo the whole video. But I just hope that in the coming years I will have less work and it will just be automatic. Just you input a manual, say make a course similar or make the same course for another public. But at the moment it's very manual work. Yeah.
I think, I mean, I love AI, but that is still the beauty of it for me. It can do the structural and groundwork for maybe 70% of it, but the
Yeah.
30% that really makes a difference has got to be by you. And I think
Yeah. And
that's
just to put
what
everything
shows
on
through.
the platform, all the
Yeah.
little steps, like the end steps are really the most work. And then getting it reviewed and waiting for the reviews. And yeah, so
I think something that struck me that when you mentioned that there, and it's something that I see a lot where I work and also see a lot when I do sort of education bits and pieces around the UK and internationally, that when you're so far in it yourself, you think that everyone has, you make so many assumptions, everyone has a baseline level of knowledge that you take for granted, but you think everyone else has, and it's really not the case. And often that bit is missed when we're talking about newer technologies, about actually going not necessarily back to basics, but ensuring that those assumptions are not taken so far that it just becomes only for the people who are in the know. And that's what I really like about the materials that you produce. It
yeah,
doesn't assume that you have a background knowledge at a
yeah,
certain level. Certainly, some of the things that I write is like it's so out there. You have to have almost like a degree to kind of get there. Whereas you don't make that not a mistake, but you're sort of very good
yeah,
at going wherever you're at. We're going to hold your hand and bring you along, and that
yeah.
I think is really unique and nice.
Yeah, the idea was really if you have a new diabetes educator in your team and you just want to keep using the pump or starting a new system, that it's the training from the beginning, but it is to be clear at the level of a diabetes educator. And to be honest, people with type 1 diabetes, they use the same language and a lot of them are at the same level. So if you are
Yeah.
living with type 1 diabetes for a few years, you will definitely be able to follow. But from that level up, it really tells the basics there is always a general module, and then you have the device-specific modules always in the same structure.
So tell us a little bit about the structure of the platform then, in terms of if someone walks on and they just find it, they go, do you know, I'm really interested in hearing about that because I'm a diabetes educator. There's some stuff out there, but there's not something where everything's in one place. It starts from the underpinnings of the tech and then goes off into the individual things. That sounds perfect for me because I can learn as I need to. When you arrive, what does it ask for, and what's available for free and what's available for for people who want a bit more?
So when you log in for free,
Mm-hmm.
you can be on the platform in 2 seconds, and you have the general modules are definitely for free, and everything open source is for free because it fits in their ideology that open source is free. But to be honest, like I love open source, I support open source, but I understand it's too much tech or it might be too complicated as a starting diabetes educator. And it's not that I push open source over commercial systems. It's just that I believe that the education should be there and it's available in the free modules. And then if there are companies who support us, then their modules are also free. But to be clear, they're all created the same in the same structure. So we're not pushing hard on any benefit that they might have over another system. We just go over every parameter, what they have and how it looks and how the alerts look, for example.
Yeah. So basically, someone can log in for free, get the basic education to the point, get some of the systems that are available for free in the open source, the ones that have obviously contributed to the education time, and the other ones is a kind of fee to access there, which for me, I think this is actually really important. So you don't get anything for nothing in life. And the reason why you've sometimes got to either as a company pay someone to do a good job for you, which some of them have, or as a user, if you find the materials valuable, that entity needs some support to ensure that that good quality can continue at a cadence that the technology is moving. So I actually see that as an important part of making sure that it stays viable and staying up to date and staying high quality. So if people want access to the full stuff, then they'll obviously can have a look at the subscription model, presumably.
Yeah, and it's really cheap. So it's only 10 euros for a month, or 100 euros, something like 100 euros for a year. And you get some points also out of it. So it's all accredited. Even the free courses are accredited. So that's like support.
And so you're continuing professional development accredited, and which again is massive because I know a lot of people certainly have reached out to me and said, "Oh, when we've done some of your stuff, can you have some CPD points?" I'm like, "No, you can have some. You can have some skin in the game points, but you can have no CPD because I haven't applied for it." But I think as people, they want both. They want good quality education, but they also want recognition for their professional, whoever they subscribe to from their profession. So having that available also is, there's loads of good information out there, but there's very rarely something that does both. It does good quality education and also provides the continued professional development points that are recognized for medics and different people. So I think that also is really nice. And again, people think, a monthly subscription of 10 euros, but the pace of moving, like you're going to go to the ATTD in 2026 and there's already going to be 5 different things that you're going to have to come back and develop something on. So they're straight away, if those things are going to get out, you're going to need
modules that are coming already. So it's amazing. And of course, like having the updates every year. So it's the work keeps coming, but it's okay. I love to do it.
And the same for CGM as well, because obviously we've covered AID, but there's a whole host of CGMs.
All the CGMs will be there, and the ketone monitors.
And the ketone, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Not sure how to interpret those, but...
Okay, the continuous ketone monitors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it the Cybionics and the Abbott one, right?
Yeah, only Cybionics, because the Abbott
that's the one that's
I can only make a module if there is a device commercially available. So once it's commercially available, it will be there.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good point as well, because when these things are available, having somewhere very quickly where you can find out in a format that you're used to, a format and a structure you understand, and something that you trust has been done properly is extremely important. Because I know when something new comes out, and maybe we have a manufacturer come into our center, for example, we've only got the manufacturer's details. Now, I know they're telling you the best possible situation for their device. And the marketing materials are built that way. There's not the pros and cons. There's not the considerations from a clinical education perspective. So to be able to have somewhere where you can know it's going to be available, fast-paced, offers objectivity and offers clinical education points is extremely important in this fast-paced moving things where at the point of delivery, the only thing that's generally out there is the manufacturer's information. Not I'm saying that that's not good. I'm just saying it has to be biased. It has to be biased because that's the way that their business model works.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also bringing everything together because a lot of times they have a few videos on certain parts of the system and they have the manual, but like we make sure we have the whole trajectory like filmed and the transcript is available. And it's also meant that you can go in whatever lesson you are interested in. You can scan the text, see if this is the video you want to see or not. So you don't have to do the course from beginning to the end to get to the part that you really want to know.
So that part is key. So for me, like I go on, I'd be like, I don't need all that stuff at the beginning. I am way past it. All I want to know is the what it does, why it's important, and how to educate. And I think that is also a really nice thing because if you've done the groundwork with the earlier modules, you don't need to keep revisiting that necessarily, but you can hop into where you need.
A lot of stuff is repeat, and you just need some kind of specific idea.
And the video's broken down into short segments, right? It's like time frames.
Yes. It's about 6 videos per device, and the videos are 3 to 10 minutes. And sometimes it's a bit longer if it's like a complicated algorithm or something, then you go a little deeper because, the open source systems, they have quite some features.
Oh, they do. They do indeed. Duration of insulin action, carb absorption rates. Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing if you're totally nerdy and into it, but I think it's so overwhelming. Even for most healthcare professionals don't know what they're doing with it. So to have that there, but the people who know what they're doing with it, obviously they can get amazing things out of it. So yeah, that's good. And actually, I just saw recently you published your 2025-2026 device guide, which is kind of got a really nice overview of the devices available, what kind of are our key features, what are the things to consider. So at a glance, if you're considering, discussing these things, or even selfishly as an educator who often gets asked about these things, you've kind of put everything in one place. It's amazing.
That's typically it. It's like you're never going to be, if you just look at the names and look at like the visuals, then you're never going to be surprised. It's always when people come, I read this on Facebook, and you're like, I never heard of it. That's weird, right? Yeah, you should know first. So that's why I just made sure that we have the most important like devices already there listed.
And that's available on the site right now. You can just go and download that for free. Because I saw that obviously you can sign up to your newsletter. I got it through your newsletter, which I looked at and I thought, wow, that alone is a lot of work. I mean, I looked at that, it made my eyes water. I thought, it's a lot of work right in there. So well done for that. And keeping that up to date as well. And I think that also from a regulator's or a reimbursement team's perspective is also very useful because they have so many people knocking on their door with different devices and different things, and they have no understanding of how to actually compare or look at different things.
We have the best system and we are the first to do this. And we are the smallest, or we are the most accurate, and you believe them, right? Because you don't really have this.
Well, I don't. I never believe them, but most people do. Yeah, I'm like, let me just check that.
If you see like all the and especially with non-invasive CGMs, right? Like, we are the first non-invasive CGM. Like, okay, but it's good to have this. To have this resource available, I think.
Yeah, no, I think I wanted to give that a plug because I genuinely believe that is extremely valuable for educators, people with diabetes, and also reimbursement teams to understand what's what, where it sits within the whole ether of different things. And then also, once you see what's available and what's available in your area, for example, if you want to get educated on, what's available on your site, and you can just go and tick the ones that you want to do and go and then go and learn a little bit more about them. So I guess what I'm saying is if you're a healthcare educator, if you're an informed person with type 1 diabetes or even type 2 wants to know about stuff, or even reimbursement professionals who are listening to this, someone's already done the work for you and is making the vast majority of it available for free with a small subscription model for the extras. That in today's climate of fast-paced technology, lots of marketing, lots of influencers promoting different things, it's very easy to get mixed messages, to be confused, to not understand what it means. You've, I think, done an exceptional job of pulling all that together into a well-trusted place for people to access. So we'll obviously put those details in the show notes, both of where the site is, how to get hold of the newsletter, and how to sort of find out more. And I think that is potentially something, for people moving forward, something to really think about. And also, I've had plenty of conversations with companies and they're saying, we're thinking of doing our own modules on our new system. I said, yeah, but what you're going to do is you're going to host it at some random page on, you're going to make up a new page, stick it somewhere else where no one can find it, or you've got 15 different devices with 15 different places to go and learn with 15 different learning styles. And it's like, good luck at assuming all of that. Why don't you just go and look at what's available from a global perspective, such as a place such as yours, and give them a fraction of the money you would have spent to make it for you and make it available for everyone. So I know you can't really say that, but I'm saying it for you because I know so many people, so many companies come in and say, oh, we're thinking about doing our own education on here. And what do you think? I said, well, number one, as soon as you do it from your company, everyone thinks it's biased because it is. Number two, you're going to make it hard to find because it won't be done. And number three, it won't be necessarily in a way that is best suited to learners, i.e. 2 to 10 minute videos, transcripts available where needed, hop in and out where you want to. It's not going to be as good as that. It's not going to be as good as that. So why don't you just give that money to someone? Does not have to be you, but if there's another place available as well where someone else does it as good, then maybe give them the money as well. I don't really care. What I care about is, for an educator perspective, being able to access one place where there's great stuff. It's consistent, so I understand how to learn on it, and I can go back and know that it's trusted and updated at a good cadence. So I'm just giving a plug there. If your manufacturer's listening, go and give them some money and get it done from there.
Although I do love also the education that they're making and the videos that they're putting out there, and they're amazing people in charge of education in the firms also. So I love everything that goes out on diabetes technology. And if they want some independent information available, they can always find us.
I certainly value the independent information 100%. Yeah. I can tell you that for sure. So where do you see the future of learning go? So what you've told us is you sparked an interest, especially through AID. There was a gap where there was a lot of more complication, especially with algorithms and different connections and interoperability. You've created something that offers that. And obviously, as interoperability goes wider and further, more defined, new interactive ways of learning happening, where do you see the future of kind of learning about tech going? So this is where you are at now. Have you had any thoughts about where it might go in the future? What might be something you would aspire to?
Yeah, of course. I want, I'm just like, I love the modules at the moment. I just feel that we're still spending a lot of time teaching patients. And it would be ideal if I would have the same courses, but for other user groups. So I think I think first it's important that we train the endocrinologists and the diabetes educators, and that those centers are all top level. But next, I think the education of the users should go easier and faster. So that could be a point, although, the companies are doing a very good job. And then also the education of the other care providers. And then I mean the general physicians, the nurses in care facilities, and the nurses on the wards. They need also training on CGM and AID, which is going to be used more and more. And in a format that is maybe more general, more quick.
Bespoke to their needs. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I would love to have, also information for them, but we will first focus, of course, to have everything for the for diabetes care teams. Perfect.
I mean, I can only give you our experience, and it is totally possible. Just this is a small snippet of where we work. Pre-COVID, we used to do everything. We'd bring them in like session face-to-face, 5 sessions. And I mean, God, even I was bored of doing it. And then when COVID came, we videoed ourselves doing the basic education and said, you do these on a simple competency check on a Google form. You got a score like 8 out of 10, which you give them the information. and giving them their own time. Even people who needed interpreters got people to interpret to them, and they pretty much got the whole basics sorted, had a competency signed off. So then when you come to the actual physical onboarding, you know they've had the good ground and the basics. And then, of course, you use your clinical expertise to make sure you deliver the onboarding, actual physical onboarding together potentially. And also the caveats of how you believe, knowing that individual right in front of you, what they need to do slightly differently. But that means that's at one session as opposed to 3 or 4 sessions was a game changer for us in terms of saving time. You're not talking about doing it all for them. You're getting to a level of competency that they understand what they need to know, so then the clinical team can deliver what that individual needs to know.
I think, was it you that published how to use your virtual onboarding, and that you were able to save so much time of the educators? It's amazing. I think that kind of flows, like implementation, right? Implementation of faster learning or new ways of learning, that's where there's still some work that could be done. So
and also they have to learn it to pass the competency, because I have done so many face-to-face education sessions, and what they do is they nod at you like this, is go, and you can see their eyes are rolling, and then they're not taking anything in, and you're not really able to competency assess them because you've got 4 people in a group, and you're like, oh, they said that they've got it, so I'll sort of say that they have got it, and then you realize pretty soon after they don't. If they can't answer the questions, then they don't understand it. If they can answer the questions, then they do understand it. It's like it's almost like that self-flipped learning approach allows people to take more accountability and responsibility in their time frame, in their own house where they're comfortable and can do it at their own pace. There's just so much to be said for it. So I think that would be an amazing thing for the future, obviously.
And also, like at the moment, people are sometimes not starting systems because they don't have the time to come in for the education, which is totally logical. And so offering that in a new way, virtually, and having the systems in place to check if they understand, that should be logical.
So that's where it's going. So obviously, this sounds like a sales pitch that I'm trying to sell everyone what your platform. But the reality is, if people know me and they know my platform and the level of honesty, and I don't really care what manufacturers think, I don't care what other people think, I say what I see. And that's why I was genuinely excited to get you on to explain the journey that you've been on, which is amazing and full of skin in the game, which I love. Secondly, that the platform really does offer consistency, up to date, in a way that you're wanting to see it for both healthcare professionals, reimbursement people, and for users, people who want to know more. For users, absolutely.
Users, or for family, because family, they're often not included in the education. Like
Grandma,
for
granddad.
They are, but for adults, they're not often included. So if you have any question about the devices, and also, which I really like, is that sometimes regions have access to devices that you don't have access to. Like we don't have access to Beta Bionics or to the treatment system, or then there is no education for us. So, but everything is on the platform. So if you want to know how they work, just look online.
So we'll obviously put all the key contacts in the show notes, which will be where to find the platform, the comparison guide that you talked about, and a few of the bits and pieces there, which will help people understand kind of what it's all about. Is there anything that you would like to leave for the listeners with regards to tech, what's coming, what you're excited about, just in a general space?
No, just I think that we're really living in very cool times. There's a lot of evolution of technology, and I'm so happy as an endocrinologist and to be able to start these systems. And for people with diabetes, I'm really excited about the systems that are available today already. And also for the future, I do believe the systems will become easier, smaller, and I hope I will live to see everything. And I think that we are starting a new generation with people with diabetes without complications. And I would love to see that happening.
I mean, I couldn't agree more.
Everybody to 7%, it's just going to be amazing, I think.
I mean, to be in the golden generation, right in the middle of where the sensors talk to the systems and do some of the daily decision making very well for you, it's been such a game changer.
And for new people, they think it's logical, but it's not logical. If you have been there, like when the systems were not available, it was a bit of a mess.
I just think of being sat in clinic is people come in with these written down finger prick readings, which were quite clearly fabricated. And then you would be like,
You were fabricated.
what we'll
And
do
you
is
would notice it in an instant, and you're like, okay.
we'll change your background insulin by 2 units. We'll
Yes.
drop it down by 2 units
What
because
are you
we've
doing?
seen 2 times you've gone low overnight. Well,
Yeah.
what about the other 10 times when they were fine and they're going high? You're just going to make a problem. And all the ID research shows that if 100% is what you need on average, it goes down to 30% some nights and 200% the other night. So like making that MDI adjustment, you feel good about it because it's the best you could do. But you
Yes.
look back and you just go, oh my God, what was it doing?
Yes. And also
Well,
seeing like people light up, right? When once they have a new system, being able to help, that's the fun part. Yeah.
I've seen parents come in almost in tears because they're like, I have not slept a full night since diagnosis. And now I've had a full week's sleep. I feel like a new person. I can't believe it because the overnights are just beautiful. And you just can't get,
nights, right?
you can't get, you just can't get enough of it. You can't, I mean, on a personal level, you know, when I've used the systems, waking up at 6 every morning, almost guaranteed, regardless of what you've done the day before, at least you're starting the day on a good footing and you've got a chance. I mean, the rest of the day might go to crap like the other days, but at least you're starting good.
Yeah. And there's still problems, right? There's still
of course
glitches, but yeah, having that good night and having that good number in the morning. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time out. I really appreciate it. I genuinely hope that people go out and check what's available and, you know, sort of dig in and, of course, give feedback on things that they love, things that they would like to be different. And that's how sort of things evolve. But yeah, I just want to really say thank you for your passion, your energy, the platform that you've developed and kind of what you're continuing to do for people with diabetes and further afield. And I look forward to seeing what's to come.
Thank you. And the same here. I love your blog. I love the things that you develop. And I just love that you really don't care what people think and you just go for the honesty. So thank you.
Oh, and I appreciate that. All right. And so until maybe ATTD 26?
Yes.
See you there.
See you. Bye.